Hello, I think I've got it right. But only you guys will be able to tell me that. Just put that in the chat. Right, let's see. Here we go. Eyes down, full house, as they say. seems like a good place to stop it there. Hello guys, yeah, I was reading your comments. Yes, I do read the comments. Or is this just video record? No, I'm live. I'm making a mess and a noise right now. Oh, thanks. Right, let's put this down. Can anyone guess what make that is? We'll pick it up again in a minute because we're going to do the lesson. Oh, I've had all sorts of trouble. Again, today, I have no idea what's going on, but I hope that you can hear me now. I think I've got it sorted. It annoys me because I don't know why I can't use my fractal. I don't know. Something's glitching the system, and I really don't. I don't know what the heck's going on. But anyway, I've gone back to my trusty Black Star, which I'm fine because I think that thing sounds great. That's 200 and some pounds. What can you say? It's a little cheap modeler. I mean, you can't afford not to have one, I don't think, if I'm honest. Really good. As you probably can see, well, hopefully you can. I can certainly see it on my screen. But knowing me, I've managed to nose that up as well. Hey! Hello, Jake. How's it going, man? Is that Harley Benton? You know damn well it isn't. Much as I love my Harley Bentons, and I've got 4 arriving next week, which means I'm going to be a busy boy, I'll tell you. And today I have, oh dear, as a special request for my contact at Harley Benton, who's one of the nicest guys I've ever met, actually. And do you know what? I didn't know it. It was an Aussie track from the old albums with Randy. And do you know what? I actually think of all the guitarists that I do, I think he's probably, for me, the most difficult. Maybe that's because it's a kind of completely different style. I don't know, really. But it's the track SATO. I've got no idea what it stands for. It's good. I didn't know it, and I'm about halfway through it, but my goodness, it's a bit of a shred fest. I was supposed to be slowing down at my age. What's going on? I'm not sure. But we'll get to that a bit later on. So I've got my notes. Hang on, let me just catch up with this. Evening, Danny. Do I have a flying V? No, that is one thing I haven't got, if I'm honest. I don't own one of those. I never have. They look cool. I have played one. A friend of mine used to have one. He doesn't have it anymore. Excuse me while I grab some water. I'm not averse to having one, that's for sure. They're not very good for sitting down and playing. What do I think about death black metal? Yeah, it's well, maybe 40 years ago I'd have been right into it. You know, crikey. One thing that is becoming more popular, certainly I've found over the last year with some students, is Slipknot. For some reason I've got a lot of students who love Slipknot and what's his name, Marilyn Manson, although that's a little bit more commercial, I guess. And I'm not averse to it at all. I'm kind of you know, life slows you down a little bit. But yeah, I'm not averse to it. It's not my cup of tea per se. Look at the state of my hair. Oh, I don't know what. I'm going to have to wear a hat soon, I think. That seems to be very vogue anyway. Right, let me see if I can just get a clean sound on here. And there's a couple of things that I was going to go through tonight, because last week we had a look at open power chords. So today I thought we'd look at closed power chords. I think, and I will check afterwards, in the Google Drive there are some examples. If they're not, I will upload them, but I'm pretty sure they're in there. Okay, and the necessarily paperwork for this, I don't think the other thing I was going to go through tonight is in there, but I will put it on straight afterwards. I can't sit back and watch someone train. Oh, no idea what that is. Right, okay. Excuse me, throat's going already. So, Oh, let me just move this camera around and then I can hopefully get down. There we go. Let's have a look. And then I can switch to that in a minute. Right, I want to... Well, we can start on the dirty sound. It doesn't matter. At least I've got it right. At least it's working. So, guys, we had a look last week at the A5, D5 and E5, okay, which is our open power chords. And then we looked at the E5 and the E6. Let me just swap to that camera for a close-up. So remember we had the A5, A6, D5, D6, and E5 and E6, which is the staple of a few billion songs, I think, you know, that's for sure. So what we're going to do tonight is have a look at closed power chords. Now, this is where a little bit of theory knowledge is absolutely essential. Let me just change that camera back. Because the shapes remain the same, and we're going to have a look at 2-string power chords and 3-string power chords and maybe even 4-string power chords, which annoys your bass player, which is always a good thing to do, really, I think, but that's good fun. So the only thing you really need to know when you're playing power chords is really 2 bits of information, okay? We need to know our root note and we need to know the shape. Well, the good thing is the shapes that we're going to look at are all the same. There is another couple, but they're rarely used. We're going to look at the most common ones that are actually used out there, okay? So, let's have a look at when we play the A5, we have the open A string and the 2nd fret on the D string, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're still going to move that shape because the nut at the moment is kind of doing the other note for us. So if we looked at moving both strings by 2 frets, okay, we're now going to hold down, so instead of the 2nd fret on the D string, we're going to hold, let me just switch to, there we go. We're now going to hold on the 4th fret of the D string, and now the 2nd fret on the A string. Now that, because the lowest of the 2 notes is a B note, guess what? It's called a B5, okay? Like I say, power chord is just a slang term, really, okay? So, that's our B5. If we move it up 1 fret, move back. Oh, I moved that, sorry. I had the wrong camera on, I was looking at the wrong one. That's just about me, that is. So, 2nd fret on the A string is the B note, and then the 4th fret on the D string. That is our B5, okay? If we move it up, we've moved everything by the same distance. So now this is C, C sharp, D, D sharp or E flat, okay? So all we need to know, really, we know the shape, we just got to know literally what those notes are. So that's why, even if you don't learn any other, you really should know the notes on your E string and your A string. And the good news there is, if you know that E string, that one's thrown in for free because it's the same thing, okay? So therefore you know half the fretboard, all right? And remember what I said? Learn the 4 marker dots. Because then if you know that, you're always within 1 fret of knowing where you want to go, because that's the open E. At the 12th fret is the E, okay? So if we learn G, A, B, C sharp, or could be D flat, all right, okay? Then we know where we're going, and that's all we need to do. So we looked at B and C, that's the root on the A string. We're now going to look at the ones on the E string. So now I'm going to the 2nd fret. I just switch back to cameras. 2nd fret now on the E string, which is our F sharp note. And then we're going 4th fret on our A string, which is a C sharp note. But it's that same shape, okay? So that's an F sharp 5. If I go up 1, G5, G sharp 5, okay, A5. A5, A5, they're all over the place, okay? So, it's quite an easy system if you know where your notes are. please learn them. It is the bugbear of a teacher. It really is getting the kids, or anyone really, to learn where these notes are. But, you know, if you wanted to learn a piece of music, it doesn't have to save a lot of time. You can just read it and know exactly where the chords are, rather than just sort of having to look up the same chord every week because you can't remember what it's called. Just remember the shape and remember the root note. That's all you need to do. And we will be getting on to bar chords soon, okay? And that's a similar thing. Again, half of it is knowing where your root note is. Once you know where your root note is, you're kind of laughing. You really are, okay? And especially if you, and I would always recommend, you know, which is why I put examples in the Google Drive, is to just start reading them and get used to sight reading charts. If you ever play in a band, hopefully a lot of you do already, but I don't know. I mean, I played in bands for 20 years before I'd ever even seen a chord chart, you know, because I wouldn't have known what they were anyway, because I didn't know anything until I got persuaded, shall we say, to go into teaching, which is the best thing that I ever did, to be honest with you. Although, like everybody knows, that I was an electrician, and they're now earning, I don't know, £400 a day or whatever, which is more than I earn teaching. It's more than I know anyone who's earning that teaching, actually. But there we go. But I'd much rather do what I do, that's for sure. Okay, and I didn't know. So I had to learn it, and when I learnt it and learned to read charts, I realised how blooming useful it was, and how much time it saved me, and how much better it made my playing as well. Okay, there's no question about that. I could play before, but I always played by ear, there's no problem with that. Your ear is always your best friend. There is no question about that whatsoever. But there we go. So that's movable movable power chords. All right. With 2 strings. So now let's have a look at a 3-string one. So if I go to the B5 again, what I'm going to do, I'll switch to the camera so you can get a close-up. So we're going to 2nd fret on the A string, 4th fret on the D string. That sounds like da-da. What does that sound like? Some sort of Star Wars thing or something, isn't it? Oh, I don't know. Oh, well, never mind. Right, so now we're on about three note power chord, which is just a root, a 5th, and another root, because both those notes, the A string and the G string, are both B notes. Okay, so it's as simple as that. And again, move it up. Now, you might want to use 3 fingers. Okay, most people do when they start. I don't bother. Which does mean that I do stick my 2nd finger up, and I'm not being rude. It's just the way that most people do when they play these kind of chords. I tend to do it with 1 finger because I just find it easier. But absolutely fine to do it with both fingers like that. All right. And again, that's still B5, okay? It's just a thicker version, if you like, rather than just a little bit more body, because you're bringing in another root note, but it will be on the top, okay? So, and again, B5, C5, C sharp or D flat 5, whichever one, okay? It's the same. And then we just take the same shape, and we just look at the same ones we did before. So 2nd fret on the E string is your F sharp note, 4th fret on the A, which is your C sharp note, and then your 4th fret on your D string, which is another F sharp. So then F sharp, 5 again, G 5, G sharp 5, A5, etc. Again, just a little bit more thicker. You've just got a little bit more body to it. All right, so oops, why is that not gone back? There we go. So I tend to prefer 3-note power chords, but I will show you one now that will annoy your bass player, because I always used to get told off with a certain bass player. Hi, Rog, if you're watching. I doubt if he is, but never mind. And if I go back to that B5, so when I'm on a root on A and I'm playing the 3 note, I got my B, my F sharp, and my another B. But what you can do is you can cover the F sharp on the E string as well. So that's a 4-note power chord, which does tend to annoy them because you're putting a lot of low frequencies in it, and that's why you've got a bass player. But that would still be a B5, but slash F sharp. Whenever you see a slash chord, it don't mean to say it's that bloke from Guns N' Roses who's played it, alright? What that means is you play the chord, i.e. the B5, but you put the F sharp as the lowest note. And that's I mean, obviously, and if Jake's still here, he would be generally a lot lower tuning and a drop on top, so you can get that real, yeah, with 7 strings and all that. I have never played a 7-string. I know I'm going to do one day because someone said it would make a hilarious video, or an 8-string, because has anyone got one? 7 or an 8-string? I think there's too many strings. I've got enough problems with 6 if I'm honest. But I know you can get really low down on that. You know, it's not I dislike them. It's just that I've always had trouble with 6 strings, so why would I want some more? I don't know really. But there we go. So, like I say, the main thing you need to take out of this is learn the shape and learn your root notes, and then you can go anywhere you want. And it's good to know also that, like, you know, you've got choices. So here's a B5 on the E string, 7th fret on the E is a B, 9th fret on the A is an F sharp. Same chord, you see. But if you were going, say, F sharp to B, I'm not going to play it. Don't worry. Okay, you wouldn't necessarily want to go. You wouldn't want to go all over. You can have options. Okay. It's good to know where they are on both, so that you literally don't have to play an F sharp up here and a B down here, or an F sharp there and a B there. Options are always a good thing, especially when you're reading, because you don't want to be starting to run around all over the fretboard, that's for sure. Okay. So the other thing, like I say, I'm not sure if this is in the Google Drive, but it will be tonight if it isn't, which we are going to start on. Now, this realistically is what they call the guitar player's handbook, if you like. Okay. These are the minor pentatonic box patterns. Now that they are scales, the only reason we're calling them box patterns is that, say, an A scale, say A minor pentatonic, would technically go A to A. But with this one, we're going to go into a C because it's within that box position. All right. Now, if you only ever learn one set of scales, all right, really, this is the most important. This will get you out of trouble 95% of the time. It really will. Okay. Now, what does pentatonic mean? Right. Pentatonic means 5. I don't know what tonic means, but pent means 5. We know that. Major and natural minor scales, okay, the full scales as we refer them to, are 7 notes, all right? These are 5. So we're taking out 2 of the notes, and the reason we take 2 of them out is that they don't always work particularly well. They're not wrong, but depending on what chord's being played underneath in your backing track, they might not always sound great. I always liken it to a big box of Quality Street that, you know, well, they used to be big, but apparently they're getting smaller every year now. There's a surprise. And when we open them, everybody dives in and they grab the purple one and the chocolate caramels and all that, and then you're left with, like, your orange cream and your coffee cream. But, you know, when we're playing guitar and we look at, or improvising, looking at the chords underneath, there are times when just those extra, you might want a coffee cream. You just feel like it. So you've got those. But if we take them out of the equation, every chocolate in that box will be a good one, wouldn't it? All right? Although some people might just like going in and taking them to start with. I don't know. So that's why we do it. Now, the box patterns, there are 5 positions. Once you've learnt those 5 positions, it obviously after the 12th fret, it just starts again. So you can unlock the fretboard. I mean, if you ever... You'll see a lot of these adverts. I'm not sure if I haven't seen one for a while, admittedly, but they always used to be on there. You know, play killer blues, you know, by just learning 5 fingering patterns or 3 fingering patterns. This is what they're talking about. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at 2 tonight. All right. And like I say, this will be in the Google Drive if it isn't in there now. Right, so what we're going to do is, now, some people call them different numbers. This is in the key of A minor, which is one of the most common keys. They are all transposable, and we will get round to that in a future lesson, how to do it, all right? Position number 2 is what I call the guiding star, and that's really the most important. And that's going to allow us then quite easily to work out where all the others are. I think so anyway. So if we look here, and we're just dealing with the first one, what we're going to do is, it's a palindrome. All right, a lot of people think about it like that. So we're going to go start on the E, low E, up to the top E, then back down. So we're going to go fret number 3, 5, 3, 5, then 2, 5, 2, 5, back up to 3, 5, 3, 5. Now these are all the A, C, D, E and G notes, which is the notes that will be in A minor pentatonic, okay? So there's a couple of things that is good to do with this as well, all right? And we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We'll learn the scale, or the box pattern, let's be pedantic, all right? But also, think about it as a good excuse to practice alternate picking, all right? So we look at like what we call the inside and the outside route. We'll start with the outside route, which basically means we're going to start with a down, then an up, then a down. I'm going to switch cameras so it's probably easier to see. Okay, let me just move that around. There we go. So we're going to start on the 3 with a downstroke, 5 with an up, 3 with a down, 5 with an up, 2 with a down, 5 with an up, 2 with a down, 5 with an up, 3 down, 5 up, 3 down, 5 up. Reverse it. 3 with an up now. Now there we can, if you want, do another upstroke. It's called economy picking. But I would go up to the top note. Okay, we've ended up with... Now, sorry, we're going to end up with a downstroke there. Did I get that right? Hang on, I got to think what I'm doing now. This is bad news. Yes, I should have finished on an upstroke. A down on the 3rd fret, up on the 5th, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. When you've got to stop and think about things, it's terrible. And I haven't got a student in the room to say, hang on, you did that wrong. Which we all do, by the way, and I admit to it, I don't care. All right, so alternate, strictly alternate. The main thing of this is that when you get to the top note, start coming back the opposite way. Don't play the top note twice. Don't go. Bad news. Just try it. Then we can keep to alternate. Now that's the outside route. Then start with an upstroke. It's good to practice it both ways, because when we're sort of playing a little bit faster later on, we really got to get the pick in the right direction sometimes, okay? So, try, like I say, you can use, I tend to use 1 and then 4, 1 and fingering wise to do that. It doesn't really matter on that one at all which fingering you use. Just don't do that. Please don't do that. You'd never see Slash do it, would you, or any other guy? All right. So you can use 1 and 3. I know a lot of people don't like using their 4th finger. That's fine. I've got so small hands, I have to use it. I've always used it. So alternate picking and learn the pattern. All right. Now then, when we picked that, every note we did, my 4th finger played the 5th fret. Now they all overlap. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with my 1st finger now on this 5th fret to my 4th finger. 1st, 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 1st, 3rd, 1st, 4th, 4th, 4th. That's not easy to say, is it? 1st, 4th, 1st, 4th, 1st. 1, 3, 1. That one I would try and use a set fingering because it goes across the 4 frets. It's a little bit more friendly, that one. Now this is the one that most people only ever use, and then they play it an octave higher, and if they've been playing for a long time and they've got a maple neck, all right, you sometimes see it dirty down here, dirty up there, and that's where they've been playing, but we're missing out on all the notes in between. Now like I say, this one here is the only one of the 5 patterns that actually starts on a root note of A, because we're in A minor. So that's why I call it the guiding star. So if we just move this now, I'm going to move to B minor. All right? Now then, that's fine, okay, because I just use the same pattern. And then I think, okay, so the one beneath it was this. So therefore I can see the pattern underneath, and then I can see the main pattern that we're playing. So that's kind of how we sort of remember it. I mean, we should technically remember it by every single note that's in every single key, but I probably know about 2 people that would do that. Simple as that. We tend to, like chords we use as shapes, there's nothing wrong with that. And we tend to remember scales literally by fingering patterns. And there's, you know, when you get on a bit, it's not a bad idea to look, and you have to sometimes, to look and see what notes you're using, especially when we examine what chords are in a backing track underneath, all right? But try and learn these patterns. And then what I would do is, and I'm gonna go back to that backing track and just use that, all right? And so this is in C minor, and what I would do is sort of play a few notes in the first one, and then just kind of slide up into the next one. So I'm using position 1, slide back into the first one, then slide back into number 2. So I'm kind of linking them together. So I'll just show you what I mean. Keep doing that, right? So just try and link them together, all right? Of course, when you know all 5, you can just go between all 5, all right? Okay, so that's the way to do it. And when you've learnt them, please put it to a backing track. All right, there's no better way to practice, if I'm honest. Absolutely no better way at all. And we're so lucky that we've got some great ones. I generally use Jam Tracks 247 from Gary, which is really he just produces some really good. Tom at Elevator does some really good ones as well. I'll put the links in the description so you can go straight to their sites, guys. I think they're the two best guys out there, that's for sure. Okay, so, any questions? Oh, apart from why is there so many bad notes tonight? That's my day, trust me. And what we got here? I play guitar and piano. I was in a high school band and they made me write everything we did, yeah. I wrote all of the song and was tired of it. Was I right to... Yeah, I mean... mate, how you doing? If you weren't happy with it, then yes, you were definitely the right thing to do. Some people get very, very precious about having to have everything written down. And I kind of think that stifles creativity a lot of the time, which is why I love improvising. And I think most guitarists do. Maybe it's because I'm lazy, I don't know. But, you know, and not every day, I'm having one of them days today, it's going to sound particularly great, that's for sure. But, you know, if you've got to play everything to the letter of the law all the time, there should always be freedom. I think with music, you know, go and watch your favourite band live. When I do, I want them to do, maybe mess around with songs. I mean, look at what Zeppelin did in the early days. I mean, they just make a 5-minute song go on for half an hour. And they just kind of, the chemistry between them, they could just go off on a tangent. And it would just be unbelievable. And you don't see much of that nowadays, if I'm honest. I mean, I know I don't get out and see as many bands as I'd like to, that's for sure. I don't know. Yeah, you're right, Danny. You have to have fun with it. Music, playing an instrument, the number one reason it should be fun. Now, like I say, you're always going to have a bad day. We all get them. It doesn't matter how. Who knows why? Nobody knows why. It's just life, really. You have a good day, it's great. You have a bad day, it's bad. But, you know, don't worry about it. Come back to it. You have good gigs, you have bad gigs. I've had some terrible gigs. You know, I've had gigs where the first set's gone horrendous. You have a break, and then suddenly the second set went brilliantly. What's that all about? I've got no idea. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason to it. That's the thing. But they made me write out all of the song, and I was tired of it. Yeah, I know. That's. When they made you write out all of the song, what, in notation or chord charts, but yeah, like I said, I think personally, you know, you should have a lot. There should be some form of freedom within the song or whatever, you know, even if it's just 16 bars, 8 bars, 16, 24, whatever, to have a solo and improvise with. Why not? Makes the song different, doesn't it? You know, what's the problem with that? I don't see a problem with it at all, if I'm honest, you know. Did anyone go to the guitar show up at Birmingham last weekend, which I can't believe that's a week ago already. Crikey. I don't know where this week has gone. I really just don't know. It's been absolutely manic, and next week's going to be a lot worse, I know. But I know I went up there with basically two objectives. Excuse me. One was to make as many new contacts as I could, which I did, made some good ones, and I've already had some meetings, which should be really cool. And I should be going to Marshall soon, which would be really nice. There's a certain day coming up, which is called the Father of Loud Day. Apparently they do it every year. I didn't know that. So I'm looking forward to that, where they sort of wheel out a lot of old stuff, a lot of, I think they've got like a Randy Rhodes head, and that's, yeah, I've been doing some of his stuff today, which will be really cool. Looking forward to that. And yeah, just one thing and another. And and the other objective was, under no circumstances was I to buy a guitar. and I don't need another guitar, that's for sure. And I wasn't going to, and I managed to get through the whole first day without even really looking at too many, just sort of trying the odd one out and talking to people and what have you. And then I got accosted on a Sunday morning by a bloke called Tony. Thanks, Tony. Who said, "Oh, hello, please come and have a look at our guitars." And he works for Rob Williams. And I've not heard of Rob, but funnily enough, a couple of friends have, who's been building guitars for a very long time. And it was a bit of a nightmare, really, because I looked at the guitars on his stand, and he had about 6 or 7 there. And this one was on the end. And I'm a complete and utter sucker for a lovely piece of wood. I don't know why, I just absolutely... it's nature, isn't it, I suppose? I'm not really sure. Can anyone guess what the top wood on this? It's not maple. Let's put it out to you and see if you can guess what it is. I must admit, I was surprised because I thought it was maple. I really did. But it's got some lovely flaming in it. It's beautifully book matched. And we got swamp ash on the back, which I love swamp ash. I really do. I think it's incredibly resonant. I'm not getting into tone woods because some people, whatever. But the one thing that I really, this guy's attention to detail is quite staggering, and I've never seen this before. So I'll switch cameras and try and get this in shot, and you can see that the jack socket is built in. Now, I'm pretty sure, I didn't ask, but it certainly looks like a bit of mahogany or something, so it definitely looks like wood. And I've never seen that before, so they obviously inlay that, or glue it in, and I just thought that was a nice touch, if I'm honest. It's just funny, because it's got a gloss neck on it, which I don't normally like that much, but actually it's not too bad. And if anyone's got a problem with sticky necks, okay, which is always a problem, talcum powder. That's what I use. It does make a bit of a mess. Yeah, you can always tell where I've been playing because there's like a load of mess around me. That just kind of frees it up. But he builds some really lovely guitars. I may change the neck pickup on it, I think, because I'm not 100% sure. I like the others, I really do. But yeah, and it was a bit of a good deal, really. So I had to come home and confess to my wife, Yeah, that was fun. So I got lots of makeup on tonight around the eyes, No, I'm only joking. Never tell a lie. I never do. I told her how much it was, but I did say, but it will be going through the business. So she was all right then. But I did get, why do you need another guitar? Well, I don't, but I've always been after like a Sir or an Anderson, because it's that super strat thing with the lovely, lovely woods. And this is a drop top, so it's like an Anderson. Anderson? Sorry, Lee. Anderson. Okay. It's just lovely, and I know I shouldn't think like this, but I'm actually thinking, do you know what, if I spec something up, I wonder how much it would cost me. Oh, God help me, I've got gas really bad, but it is... Yeah, I love it. It's the best for. I will be doing some videos with it, but all hand built. I mean, like I said, I got a really good deal on it, I wouldn't if I, but I've been using it all week. I can't put it down. I mean, I just look at it and it just inspires you, doesn't it? And this guy, I can't even, it's book matched so well, I can't really even kind of see where the join is. But actually, this is eucalyptus. I've never heard of that. Well, I've heard of eucalyptus, obviously, but I've not heard of it on a guitar. But blimey, if that's what eucalyptus looks like, bring it on. I wonder if they do like quilt in eucalyptus. And well, you've seen my PRS, which has got a wonderful quilt top on it. But this is better book match than that. Oh crikey! But yeah, it is very resonant. Yeah, but I may change that, and I'll probably change the tuners for locking tuners. I think the neck is mahogany or some African mahogany. I think because obviously wood is coming from different places now, but it's easy to play. Check his stuff out, guys. He's got a. Why do I always get a pop up on this? Let me do that. Get rid of that. Yeah, Rob Williams. Rob Williams guitar. He's up in Wales. He's been building for a long time. Yeah, go and check his stuff out. Blimey, some of the past ones that he's done. Good job they weren't on the stand. Otherwise they'd be here now. Mind you, I expect there would have been a lot more money than this. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. A sucker for a piece of wood. Terrible, isn't it? You know, that's what you get when you get older, I'll tell you. But there we go. Yeah, no, not spruce. Yeah, no, it's eucalyptus. Like I say, I've never heard of that. He did actually show me, he had a beautiful Les Paul type guitar there that was made entirely of cedar. And that was book match flame top, which was absolutely lovely, but light. And I picked it up and I said, "Oh right, that's chambered?" And he went, "Nope, cedar's actually quite a light wood." I didn't know that, so I'm learning all the time, you know, which was really cool. And I didn't know they did figured woods. I mean, I guess that people are sort of going now into other areas because, you know, like, what is it, Brazilian rosewood. If you've got a guitar with that, believe it or not, you may or may not know this, it's actually got to have its own passport now if you want to fly with it, because it's an endangered species, Brazilian rosewood. All right, PRS do, I don't know if they've done one for a while, but I know they certainly did it a while ago, and they did sort of limited editions with that on the fretboard, which was lovely. But they, like I say, it had to have its, not obviously a proper passport, but you have to have paperwork with it if you want to fly with it, because otherwise they could technically take it off you and destroy you. Now, I know I certainly wouldn't want one of my guitars taken off me to go on the bonfire, because they didn't have the right paperwork. But you know, that's, I guess they're bringing in laws like this and rules like this to protect it. So I don't know, good idea I suppose. I've no idea. Not a bad thing I suppose, bit of a hassle, but blooming throat's going again. Yeah, was anyone at the show? Was anyone actually there? I thought it was incredible this year. I really did. I think it was, I know it was sold out totally on the Saturday, and I think it got sold out on the Sunday as well, which is the first time that show's ever been sold out on both days. And what I did notice is, years that I've gone before, obviously the last few years, sort of around about 2, 2:30, it thins right out. This was, I mean, really busy till the end of the day. So I don't know what they're going to do next year. I think that, you know, it's very Jason and they a couple of lovely guys, and they really do run a really good show. It's very professional. The thing I like about it is, I don't know if anyone's ever been to Nam, which I must admit I didn't enjoy entirely. Actually, not much at all, if I'm totally honest. Because it's noisy. I mean, you are talking noise on another level. All the stands are just competing with each other to see who can get loudest. And you can't talk to anyone, which you really want to do. It's just a blooming nightmare. I mean, an absolute nightmare. But with the Birmingham one, what they do, which I think is a great idea, is they do half-hour noise so you can try things or listen to people play on the stands, and half an hour of silence, which is really, really great. Please play for freedom of Korea. Are you on about North Korea, I'm presuming? Is that where you're from? I don't think you can access the internet there, can you? I don't know. Or is that a song? I don't know. Please explain that one. It might be a song called Freedom of Korea. I don't know it. Well, I don't think I do. Mind you, I know a lot of songs that I haven't got a clue what it's called. I'm terrible with song names. I generally have to ask the drummer, how's this one go? You know, then he has to hum me it quickly. So I don't know. So please explain on that one, Lucas. I'll be interested on that one. Or have they got trouble over there? I don't know. There's trouble everywhere else at the moment. But oh no, I don't know. I don't do politics. I try and stay out of it. I try not to watch the news much anymore. I know you should, but I don't know. I've got enough to worry about, trying to work every day and try and sort everything out, and you know, try and get the students all prepared for their concerts. And we've got, how many have we got next week? I mean, this is a crazy thing. Most schools, I don't know if you guys have got kids in school or whatever, how many concerts do that school that your kids go, if they do in a year? A lot of them maybe do one at Christmas and maybe one in the summer, so 1 or 2 a year. Next week at the Bourne Academy, I've got 4 nights. I can only go one night, I think. I can only go one. Because it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, man. I mean, I used to do it a bit. I just don't have the time. With the politics thing, oh man, I don't know. I think they're all out to, I don't know. I don't trust any of them really. The one thing that I think we've got someone from Scotland on here. I'm not sure. I think one of you guys from Scotland. Now, for those that don't know, and please, if I've got this wrong, please tell me. I believe for many years you have run in the education system there that every school age, I think, or it might be just senior school, but I think it's every school year is entitled to 1 free peripatetic music lesson a week. Okay. You are from Scotland, yeah. So is that right? I'm pretty sure for many years now you have given all school kids a free peripatetic music lesson every week, which is basically me going into school and teaching a guitar, but it could be, well, I wasn't going to teach violin, but you get a violin teacher or a drum teacher or whatever. And then 3 years ago, I think it was, Wales started doing it as well, and I thought that was great. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the figures are that attendance is much better and other subjects are much better, or the results are, okay? Now, it might be a coincidence, but I'm hoping it's not. Because I know, because I work for a PRU, I know I've got kids that will only go into that school to see me, or the other music teacher, okay? It's not me, it's because they can get involved in music, all right? Simple as. So it does get kids into school. And that's my passion in life, guys, is teaching. You know, like I've said before, I know people know me for social media and AGT and all that and what have you. But, you know, first and foremost, my day job, which I don't want to give up, I'd maybe like to do a little bit less, especially in the next few weeks because I've got so many jobs to get out. Is teaching because I enjoy it. That's the thing. See, I love doing it. I had a proper job once. I didn't like it. No, I did. That's not true. I did like it. I did like being an electrician, mainly because I just did pulls and I could build whatever the customer wanted. So I had to use my brain and work out systems and what have you. So I quite enjoyed that. But I much rather do what I do now. Plus the fact I'm not cold in the winter. Unless, of course, you're the sax teacher who keeps turning my radiator off in my room. So I'm trying to think how I can get revenge on him, actually, because I think it's coming. Because he knows if he turns the radiator off because he likes it cold, I don't. I'm old. I like it warm. But there we go. Yeah, teaching is very rewarding, you know. To watch kids do their first concert or 21st concert, come off stage, loving it, you know. And the one thing that I really is heartening, and I get this because we've got another concert coming up at the PRU where I work at as well. They are all really supportive of all the others. And I find that great. And I really do. And I think there's a certain... I think kids could teach adults a lot sometimes. And I really do. And they do support their mate who may just have made a horrendous mistake or whatever, or it didn't go well for them. But there's just that camaraderie. I think that's the word, you know. More than I ever thought there would be. But there just is. And that's great, you know, because you just leave them to get on with it. You know, because they're not going to... I can tell them as much as I like. Look, don't worry, you don't have to be nervous, blah, blah, blah. You know, when you go out there, I know it's horrible, but when you come back off, you'll want to go back out again. And I know they won't believe me, but, you know, their mates will help them. They really will. How long have I been... Teaching is very rewarding, yeah, it is. How long have you been a music teacher? 20... I think I'm in year 22 now, or 23. No, 23. I think 2003 I got persuaded. I think that's when we were doing the rock club, which would have been probably maybe Easter time. I think we used to run it, and I'd love to run it again. Although why? Because I think that's what made me look old. Because it's oh my goodness, it's a lot of work, and it's where we used to get like 50, 60 kids come in. Some would be in bands, most wouldn't, and some they're varying degrees of being able to play. Some hardly being able to hit a note, but every single one of those kids on day 2 would do a concert to their family and friends. And I think it was around that time, and that's when I'd been made redundant. The guy I was working for, the pool company, was just shutting. He'd done enough. He didn't even want to sell the business on, he gave it to one of the other guys who only really took over the servicing. He didn't want to sell on the good name of the construction of the poolside, which was a bit crazy in a way because he could have earned a lot of money, but I think he was quite wealthy anyway. And you know, God bless him, because unfortunately he passed away in the lockdown. And he was a lovely guy to work for. He really was. And I've been made redundant, and obviously it was Tim, my friend Tim, who we pulled in to do a rock lab because it was getting so big and I needed another guitar teacher. And he said, well, what are you going to do? And I just said, well, I'll get another job. I've had a couple of offers to go and work for a couple of firms. And he said, well, why don't you try teaching? And you could have knocked me down with a feather. Because like I said, I didn't know any of this. I didn't know any scales. I knew a couple of notes were on the fretboard and a few chords, but I just played by ear. So I had to learn it, and luckily he sort of took me under his wing. He was a well-established teacher and still is, and now he works with me 1 day a week at the PIU, which is great, and that might even be going to 2 days next year, I don't know yet, which would be really cool. And we do a lot of band stuff, which is at the PIU, which is really, that's the most enjoyable, because, you know, you're getting kids that have, you know, a lot of medical referrals, have got anxiety and what have you. We've had kids come in that were, you know, selective mutes, and then we get them involved in music, and it just changes their life. You know, it really does. It just brings them out of their shell. It's, I mean, I'm sure all of you, could you do without music? Because I couldn't. And I really couldn't. I know I play, but I don't think, even if I didn't play, I still couldn't do without it. And I think, you know, obviously I've got a huge passion for it. And I always remember probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was in a doctor's surgery, and I was just sort of waiting for my appointment, and there was 2 women talking there, and one woman said to the other, sounds like a joke this, but it isn't a joke, it's actually happened. And she got on the subject of music. She said, "Oh, I hate music, can't stand it. Why does anyone like it?" And I'm totally shocked by that. Now, I know some people don't go out of their way to listen to it, or, you know, maybe don't even like the radio on, but if it's on, it's fine. But she was kind of offended by it. That's weird. To me, that makes no sense. I mean, it takes all sorts, I know, but crikey. To be offended by it, absolutely hate music. I mean, all types of music. It wasn't just, well, I don't like rock or I don't like pop. There's certain stuff I don't really like, but I don't know. Whereabouts are you in England? I'm on the Dorset-Hampshire border. I'm in Dorset, excuse me. I'm in Dorset, but I'm right sort of on the border with Hampshire, really. I used to live in Poole, which is right down on the coast. But we moved up here, which is kind of semi-rural, about 2017, 2017, I think. 9 years, my goodness, 9 years ago. I don't know where them 9 years went. I really don't. Same as the other 9 years, I suppose, or the other 62. I'm not sure. But yeah, honestly, she did. She was just offended by music, and that shocked me. I'll never forget it, because it just like pricked my ears up and go, what? You know, I didn't say anything. Obviously, it wasn't my place to say anything, but yeah. What's everybody's favourite type of music? Excuse me 1 second while I just grab my laptop. I'm coming back. Just need to check on something. Right, let me do this. Reload the page. Do that, but there we go. Right, okay. No worries. Yeah, what's everybody's favourite? I mean, obviously mine's rock blues. Gary Moore was my favourite player, and when he went blues, oh, it was just like coming home. It was fantastic. But I don't know what other, but you know, yeah, rock and some blues. I mean, to be honest with you, this is why I don't get with. And funnily enough, I had a new student start this week. I got persuaded to take someone on, which I really shouldn't have done, but I got this thing about not saying no. And he was a great lad. He really, really was. And his mum's really nice as well. So it's actually, and I think he's going to be a student that works, which is good, because that's really what I want, and get the most out of it. But there are still some teachers out there that are still flogging the dead horse, as I call it. They're still working from that book called The Guitarist's Way. Anyone know what that is? I hate it. I've got to be honest, I really do. It's all about reading notation and playing old traditional French folk songs or whatever it is. What kid wants to know that? Really? And it doesn't matter what you do, whether you play country, whether you play rap, whether you play rock, whether you play blues, metal, pop, funk. Doesn't matter. Chords are all the same. And that's what you've got to learn mainly, is chords, because rhythm playing is, you know, what you do 90% of the time. So why people are still doing that and using that book, I hate it. Yeah, it is horrid. It is horrid. I'll hook it out maybe next week. Oh, by the way, I've got it on there. I'm going to be moving, hopefully, because a few people have said a Friday night would be better, and it'd be better for me, to be honest with you. There's one Friday I can't do because I'm away for a few days at the end of the month, and I couldn't do next Saturday anyway because I'm finally going for another scan, because I still don't think we've got to try and find out where this blooming stone is. Who knows where it is, but I've got another scan, so hopefully within 3 or 4 weeks now I should know where it is and what they're going to do about it, and then get on a waiting list to hopefully ultrasound it. I don't want to know the other way. No bloke does. So I'm hoping they can ultrasound it if I haven't passed it, but I don't think I have. I think I would know. But we'll see, we'll see. I love all music. Yeah, so do I, you know. There's certain pop stuff I like. I even like the odd rap song. I'm not totally sure about drill. I get it. And I get drill, which is probably... I mean, drill is just another form of rap. I'm sorry, but it just is. Like grime and all the other ones. I mean, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with all the subgenres of rock, which there's probably about 50 or 60 of now. I mean, my day it was heavy metal. That was it. Now heavy metal is now classic rock. Not sure in another 50 years whether Metallica will be easy listening. There's a thought for you. Maybe. I mean, I won't be around in 50 years, that's for sure. I don't know. Oh, blimey. I had the privilege to see Gary Moore and Thin Lizzy opening for Queen. Oh, my God, blimey. Now that, wow, that would have been unbelievable. I mean, Gary Moore, Thin Lizzy and Queen on the same bill. I never saw Queen. I never saw... Did I see Thin Lizzy? No, I think I did see Thin Lizzy. Yes, I did. And I also saw Phil Lynott, or Lynott, I never know which one it is, with Gary Moore. Funnily enough, on the last thing that he ever did, it wasn't long before, sadly, he passed away. But, oh my goodness. That's just like a little bit of a dream lineup for me. Wow. Yeah. Queen I would love to. So I love Queen. You know, I never think of anyone, and I always say this, that there's no such thing as the best guitarist, because that instrument, any instrument, is so diverse. Who's the best rock player? Best rock player might not be able to play jazz. So how can you have the best... So you can have... I don't even think you can have the best rock player or whatever. I really don't. Favourites, yes. Best, no, not really. But as far as singers are concerned, I mean, Freddie, really, does it really get much better than that? I mean, obviously I love Aretha Franklin, and I think she was as good, the female version really, but Freddie was, and that's the thing, I've done loads of Queen songs over the years, and they could play basically in any key. They did play in a lot of keys, whereas most bands will stick to 2 or 3 keys. They really will. Which is it's good in one way, because I pretty much know what it's going to be. But yeah, I'm going to make an exception for Freddie and say, yeah, he was the best. Yeah, Roger Daltrey, I've seen Roger. He's really cool as well. But I didn't know until probably when I read the books, I think, because I read his, and oh blimey, my memory is going. This is terrible, isn't it? Who's the guitarist for The Who? I'm tired. I can't think of his name. I can picture him. What? I can't think of the name. I'm going mad. Absolutely mad. But I read his book as well. But he wrote most of the lyrics, which I didn't know. Roger didn't write many at all. But he's great front man again, Roger. Really, really good. I was in a grocery store when I played Black Sabbath. Now I'm old. Never heard that wash. Well, there you go. You see, that's it. Maybe in 50 years' time, we'll hear Metallica in the dentist waiting room. I'm not sure. You know, oh, there's a thought, isn't it? Oh, mind you. Oh dear. Yeah, don't think about the dentist. Not my favourite. Not my favourite place to go, if I'm honest. But there we go. Pete Townsend, thank you. Total brain ache today. He's a really good. He's a very clever. He's a very clever kiddie. Some of the riffs that he come up with were just brilliant. I mean, oh dear. Oh yeah. He could layer things. He doesn't. I don't think he ever appears in top 50 guitarists, and that's just a load of bunkum as far as I'm concerned. Rarely does Gary Moore get in there, and then you'll find someone that you've never heard of. You know, yeah, Townsend is a genius. He is. He really is a clever kiddie. There's no question. Bit temperamental, but then so was Gary Moore. He was very temperamental. Yeah, that's for sure. But you know what? I like some rap songs and what have you. A bit of Eminem, a bit of Stormzy. I think Stormzy's a lovely guy. Seen him interviewed, and he just seems like a really sort of cool guy. And he's into his rock as well. But he also does a lot for the inner city kids in London. And, you know, that should always be applauded. Actually, guys, here we go. So, yeah, a little bit of news, actually. I've forgotten about that. So, and maybe you guys can help with this as well. I'm not sure how many I've got. I've got at least 4, maybe 5. What I'm going to do is I've got, Gary at Jam Tracks 24/7. He's going to produce me a backing track that I'm going to put out to about 6 young guitarists. Okay? I met a few of them up at the show. All right, they're all good players. All right, really good players. And I'm gonna get them to play over it and just sort of see how they approach it. I think it'll make a really good video. It's gonna be quite a long video, obviously. Hopefully it'll do all right on YouTube. My long form generally doesn't do very well on YouTube, but that might be different. Because I think it's really, they're the future, you know. And if you've watched my Instagram this week, I think I put it out on YouTube as well. Hanley, who was one of the guys, he's 14. He was playing that new guitar I got, the Rob Williams. He's an unbelievable player. Blimey, he's playing Guthrie Govan songs at 14. I'm nearly 64, well, 62. I am 62. Yeah, something like that. And I wouldn't even, forget it. The bones won't work that quick anymore, because I think, you know, we can all agree that Guthrie is just a little bit of a genius in himself. He is definitely one of the best players out there, without a shadow of a doubt. And if you don't know who he is, please go and check him out. He'll scare you. That guy is, incredible. And so anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. So they're all going to do it. Then I'm going to stitch it all together, and I'm probably going to sort of just talk about maybe as well what I like, what I didn't, and don't know really. But if you guys know or you follow anyone who's under the age of 18, because I just want the kids to get some exposure. All right. I know people have done this with big players before. Found this broadcast while cleaning my bathroom. Hello. Right, okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I've got to do mine, I think. I know I've got to have a clean up in here, but I do, and then I'll say it's never going to get messy again. And guess what? There's stuff everywhere again. I keep buying more storage, and then I keep filling it up. But yeah, so if you know anyone that's a really good player, okay, and they've got to be, guys that can, shred a bit, and there's plenty of them out there, and I follow probably about 4 or 5 of them. They're all going to get involved, and they're all different players as well, and they're all going to get the same backing track. Hi. They're all going to get the same backing track, so it'd be really interesting to see how they all approach it. I'm really looking forward to it, so that'll probably be coming in the next 6 or 8 weeks by the time I've got the track and put it out to them, and then they've done their videos, and then I'll probably spend a whole day editing it, I should imagine. It's going to be a big job. But there we go. But I think, we all go on and we all look to our favourite players, and we need to see who's coming up through the ranks, We really do. And with social media as it is, there's no better excuse, really. So hopefully that will work out quite well for them. I'm looking forward to hearing what they've got to do. So like I say, if anyone knows of anyone, please drop their name, okay? Good, the 7-string. I will get round to that. Yeah, you're right. Somebody does need to fill the shoes of the greats. Yeah, it should be really cool. Yeah, and there's at least, I think, if I'm right, I could be wrong here. I don't know. I'm tired. There's at least 2 girls as well that are really good. Okay, and I think that's great as well, because more and more girls are getting into it. I've got loads at school. It's probably, do you know, I haven't even actually thought of this. Maybe, do you know what, I don't think it's far off 50-50. If it's anything, it's 60-40. But there's a lot more girls playing now than there ever was, which I think is great. And I don't know why they didn't in the first place. I mean, it's always been seen, especially rock music, I suppose, as a sort of male-orientated sort of thing. But you've got players like Orianthe, the Australian lady, who's a really good player. Sophie Lloyd, she's a really good player. There's a few out there that have got a huge following, but they're not necessarily that great. But they might look quite good, and yeah, whatever. Listen, if they're earning a living, that's fine. Never mind about that. That is a little bit of a bugbear, but there are some really good. Hey, Susie Quattro, now you're talking, man. Now you're talking. And she still looks the blooming same. She ain't aged like I have. Yeah, she's still going. Who was her guitarist? Was that Robbie Robertson? Who was the guitarist for Susie Quattro? Was it? Oh, have I got that wrong? Oh, did you know what? Honest to God, you pick up. I'm just going to Google that. And do you know what? I can't see that now. Let me have a look. Oh, I still have to go into that later and see what's going on. But every now and then, you get some right. I don't swear. Oh, I try not to online. I do in private, but that's another matter. I don't know which one. On one of my videos, I get this every now and then. Fake. No, they're not. They're all live. Okay. I had one guy a year or 2 ago saying, "Oh, you're just miming to that." And it was on, I think it was on Comfortably Numb, the big solo. And at the end, it's totally different than what than Gilmour did. And I said, all right then, you go and find out the version that matches that then. He never come back to me. There's some idiots about. But who was it? Who was Susie Quattro's, what the heck's going on? What the blooming heck? I Hate Technology. Why have I got that on there? Oh, right, okay. Was it Robbie Robertson? No, it wasn't Robbie Robertson. It's a famous guy, but I can't remember who it was. Susie Rose, guitarist. I had a feeling he was a good luthier as well. Oh, why did blooming Google do that? I hate it. There we go. No idea. No. Who are the members of Susie Quattro Band? Oh, Len Tucky. No, don't know him. That's not who I was thinking of. Oh, well, there we go. Maybe I'm thinking of something completely different. I don't know. The brain's not as good as it used to be. I'm not sure it was any good in the first place. But yeah, Susie Quattro was great. And as far as I'm aware, still going. Which is great because the 70s... See, to me, the 70s was the decade, I think, where music really came alive. I know everybody says the 60s because of the Beatles and the Stones, all right? And don't get me wrong, yeah, obviously the Beatles changed and the Stones changed everything. But if you think about what happened right at the end of the 60s and into the 70s, you know, you had Sabbath and Zeppelin, that harder edge, you know, and then by the time we finished the decade, it was rap. And we had everything in between. We had punk, we had reggae, we had disco. There was a new genre, kind of, it seemed like every blooming week. Robertson was from the band. Robbie Robertson. Of course he was. I think he passed away a year or two ago, if I remember rightly. I can't think who a guitarist was or who I thought it was. I'm probably wrong anyway. But yeah, so the 70s to me, maybe it's because that was when I was in school. That was when I left school, or left senior school in 1980. But we did have just everything, all manner of things. The range of music that came along, the different genres, was fantastic. And I've had kids all the time over the years say that they don't really feel that they've got anything to relate to anymore. Because, obviously in the 70s we was in the hard rock, and then obviously that was reggae, and then there was punk. So you had all those movements. But there really isn't anything now, is there? Is there anything new? I don't think so. There's no new genres. It's really, we were spoiled for choice. But there's, the last real movement, as far as I can remember, was probably the mid-90s when we had Britpop, Oasis, Blur. Of course, they're back again now. I don't know where they are. I haven't heard anything from them lately. I wonder if they're still speaking. I always said they'd get back together. I always said Guns N' Roses would get back together. And they did. Probably because Mr. Rose had to probably pay off the record company, I think. Slash has always, he had the best career, certainly solo, there's no question about that. But some of the stuff that I've seen, and I love GNR, I really do. Grunge. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, grunge was early 90s. I think 91 when Nirvana came out. Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam came under grunge. Why? I thought there were two. It was almost. I thought there were two. Grunge was kind of a reworking of punk, really. I thought. I might be wrong. But Pearl Jam were too clever for that. It's a bit like the Clash were pigeonholed under punk. But the Clash were really clever. They could really play. I mean, let's face it, Sid Vicious, he just looked the part, didn't he? And it was more like that than he did one album. I know Steve Jones was actually quite a good player. And I don't know if has anyone read his book? Crikey. I read it not long ago, Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols. His autobiography. Blimey. There was a few I'm not going to mention it on air. there was a few turn-ups for the book on that one. It wasn't a bad read, if I'm honest. It wasn't a bad read at all. But yeah, some things in there that he admitted to, wow, that they were definitely a shocker, to say the least. Yeah, you know, he is Mr. Oversing, but can he sing anymore? I mean, maybe, you know, the stuff that gets posted now is just where he's had a bad night, and you know, we all get them. I don't know, or maybe someone's done something with the audio. I don't know, but I did know someone who went to see him, I think last year, and he said he was struggling. He was struggling, you know, which is, man, he must be in his 60s now. He's got to be. It's going to come to you, you know. I don't know, singers especially, obviously. You know, me and guitarists are going to have to slow down, but, you know, singers, they probably suffer the most. They really do. All cannot hit the notes anymore. No, you're right. Mind you, when Zeppelin came back, was it 2006 or 2007, and did Celebration Day, he couldn't hit the high notes, Robert. Stairway was down a whole tone. So it's actually down a whole tone, not a semitone. A lot of bands go down a semitone live, but he was down a whole tone. Because, you know, it's going to get to him. Of course it is. Still one of the greatest singers, though, in his day. And Zeppelin, I never got to see him, did I? Bonzo died in 80, which was the year I left school. My mum wouldn't even let me go to see, that Christmas actually, 1979, wouldn't let me go and see Blondie down at a local venue, which is now a bowling alley, Chelsea Village, I think it was called, if I remember rightly. And I begged her. I was 15, and she wouldn't let me go because it was on Christmas Eve, and I had to do the family thing. I would have loved to have been there to see her. I've never seen her, actually, but she was great. Not sure how good. All right. What's this chat? All right. Oh, disconnected. Reconnected. I don't know what happened there. Yeah. The only thing with her is a few years ago with Blondie, she went out and, as a few bands have done this actually, and went out live with a few gigs and said, "Oh, I'm not doing any of the old stuff. I'm just going to do the new stuff." Oh dear. That didn't work out for her. People were selling, the tickets were being returned. So I think she got about 3 or 4 gigs in. Then suddenly she decided she could do the old stuff. Strange that, isn't it? It's what we want to hear. You know, I want to hear Heart of Glass and Atomic and all that, because she was great. Ann Wilson did do a great version of Stairway. An awesome version. But what a band Heart are. Oh dear. No, it wasn't a good move from Blondie, but she's not the only one. And funnily enough, I went to see Robin Ford at a little venue probably about 3 months ago. And he came on stage and said, "Oh, I'm not doing any of the old stuff, I'm doing the new stuff." It was still good, I'll be honest. But I really wanted to hear, like, Talk to Your Daughter and all that stuff that he did, which was really great. And it's, why do they do it? I don't know why they do it. I mean, yeah, I tell you what, the kids, they're vicious, they are. The band that they, in the last few years, have got really narky about, without a shadow of a doubt, is the Arctic Monkeys. Blimey, because it's almost like, and I liken it to the film The Commitments, and I don't know if anyone's seen The Commitments. If you haven't, please go and watch it, although the language is very choice. I'll say that as a disclaimer in case there's anyone young watching, but it's a great film. It's one of my favourite films. Do you know what, my wife's on nights tonight. I might even get the DVD out. and watch that. I haven't watched it for ages. And it was like the Arctic Monkeys suddenly thought, yeah, do you know what? We can really play our instruments now. We can really write songs now. So they've gone almost jazzy and too complicated. Whereas really you want to be hearing, Dance Floor and all those old songs that were just raw. They were great. They were brilliant songs. He should have written more of those, but I think they'll come back again. But the kids are just saying, no, we don't want, we're not listening to them anymore. I don't want to go and see them live. And I don't think the sales, mind you, sales of albums have finished, haven't they? Yeah, The Commitments is brilliant, man. It's such a good film. It's up there with The Blues Brothers with me. They're my two favourite films, I think. And probably The Wall as well, mainly because it's just my favourite album. And I'm definitely not getting into the politics of that one. But I love the album. I really do. It's the album I couldn't live without. And the film is brilliant, and it really is. So there's my top three films, I suppose, all music. But there we go. And they're all really funny as well. Well, The Wall isn't funny, let's be honest. There's not much humour in that. Anyone watch The Wall? I'll always remember watching it for the first time in the cinema. Must have been about 82, 83. And crikey, it just did my head in. I came out of there dazed and confused, literally. Because it was Alan Parker. But Alan Parker did The Commitments as well, actually. That was one of his films. We lost him a couple of years ago. That was a shame. Because he was just a brilliant guy. Brilliant director, no question. I love grunge. Do like Type O Negative. Do you know what? I know the name. I'd have to listen to it. And I really would. Like I say, there's so much stuff that I know, and I've probably done some I don't know. Who's into the old punk stuff? Because one of my, obviously the Pistols were great. They did some good stuff. But the Clash, but they got, like I say, they got pigeonholed into punk. But really, they were too clever. They were so good. They really were. Very, very clever songs. Just brilliant. That will never age, in my opinion. Never. The Young Greats, we did it live and that. Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. We've got so much. Hi, mate. We've got so much stuff available to it. I'll tell you what. I don't know whether to tell you about this or not, really. You might already know about this. And oh dear. Yeah, should I stay or should I go? What a track. They were absolutely right on it, But they did, the Young Greats they didn't have any of this wizardry. I mean, they reckon when they were doing the Floyd albums, to get the effects, because there were no delays or whatever, they had to make it up, and they'd have like the tape going round broom handles but will it come back like that again? There are certain bands that have gone back to analog, like Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. Yeah, I thought the law. Oh, that's great as well. Oh, and the who did Golden Brown? Golden Brown. Oh, don't let me sing. Christ, that'd be all over them, wouldn't it? But if you guys go on to YouTube, I know you're on YouTube now. Do it later. And it's called Rust and Roses, Enily Blue, Enily, I think, BLUE. Has anyone heard of? I've just checked the spelling on that one. Let's have a look. There we go. But the song is called Rust and Roses. Enily Blue, yeah. Oh, Enily Blue, Enly Blue. And when I heard that, and I heard that it starts with a guitar that you will just die for. It's like the nicest Telecaster going through the nicest Fender amp with the best reverb in the world, and some amazing playings. A tone that I've been chasing for 42 years, and if I ever found it, my goodness, I don't think you'd ever see me again. It was wonderful. And then the singing kicks in, and it's just a blues song, and it's staggeringly good. And then I found out, or then I was told, it was AI. All of it. Not one musician on it. I don't know what to say. I'm disappointed, I guess. I don't know what to think. I genuinely don't. But if you listen to it, you'll know what I mean. Because it's one of the best songs you've probably ever heard. And it's not real. But it is real. But it isn't real. And everybody I played to was just the same. It's just like, why am I bothering? Now, funnily enough, Sting flagged this about 6 or 7 years ago, and he actually said, you know what? It won't be long before computers are writing and performing music, and it will be better than we can do it. And they laughed at him. You're not after hearing that. We're not laughing now. And I only found this out yesterday. Apparently, if it's AI, and this is what I was told, a kid told me, and they're generally more clued up than I am, especially about Spotify. And apparently on Spotify, because one kid, he said to me yesterday, there's a rapper or something that has a bag over his head. And so they thought it was AI, so they demonetized it, so the guy couldn't earn any money. He had to prove that he was real. So apparently they're not monetizing AI, and I think this is a good thing, and I hope that this is true, and I hope that all the platforms like Apple Music, well, obviously Spotify, YouTube even, don't monetize it, because if you do start monetizing it, everybody's going to be just getting Chat GPT or whatever it is. I won't even download it. Sorry, I won't. I don't agree with it. Even though I know I'm going to have to sort of embrace some of it at some point. Yeah, you know what? It won't have the soul of real music. Man, please go and listen to it, because I'm a musician. I heard that guitarist and thought it was one of the best guitarists I've ever heard. I had no idea it was AI. It's honestly, I know it. The only thing is, so hopefully these platforms won't monetize it, because then, we need to know, and they're not telling you it's AI. Okay, you have to go in, and I did check it out, and yes, it is AI. And I believe Rob Chapman did a video on this, that he said he'd been listening with his partner to this song, that's the song, for a couple of weeks. Absolutely loving it. All right, Rob Chapman, let's be honest, I know he can be a bit controversial, but he knows what he's talking about, and he's a really good player. It got him. He didn't know. So where do we go from it? And we are only just scratching the surface. I don't know. Have I ever heard of the tragically hip? I've got a tragic hip at the moment, if that helps, which I'm still trying to get sorted out, which is a blooming nightmare. It does ring half a bell. Rings half a bell. But please go and, I should say, don't go and watch it. You're right, they should have to acknowledge it's AI. They should. And I think you're supposed to. But some people aren't. But I hope they don't monetize it. I really don't. Or I really do hope that they don't monetize it. Because otherwise just so many people, I mean, so I don't know how it was done, because do you just, because I don't use it, do you just say, hey, ChatGPT, write me a blues song in 12/8 with a really dusky voice singer and a guitarist that's brilliant? I don't know. Is that what they did? If that's all they did and that's what come of it, there's no talent in that at all. I don't know. I don't know how it was done. I really don't. But I do know that it's AI, and I do know that it fooled me, and it's fooled everyone I know. So the other thing I thought of, well, okay, so we've got, and you know, we're going to get this AI whether we like it or not, because they're spending trillions of dollars on it. They won't be able to play live. And then I thought, here, hang on a minute, they bloomin' will. Why? Well, ABBA Voyage. ABBA aren't there, but they're still doing 7 or 8 gigs a week in London. They're not there. They're holograms. They built that. I don't know. I guess most people know about it. And although that goes against everything that I'm for, it is my wife's 60th birthday this year, and she wants to go. So, and I love ABBA. And everybody I know who's been to it actually says it's brilliant. It's almost like you can reach out and touch them. So I don't know. Do you know, I just realised that I've actually got, hang on, right, here we go. Let's have a look. So will they then have AI bands that will just be characters that are holograms? I don't know. No idea. No idea. Now then, let's have a look here. Right, is that the one? That's the one there. I'll kill for that guitar tone. Help! I need somebody. I'm singing again. Stop me. But it should say there that it's AI, but it doesn't. I don't know. I just don't know. It was about 3 months ago. And lots of, yeah, that is smooth. It is. And it's sad. I don't know what to think, because my brain is saying, man, that's a great song. And you know, if I hear a good rap song that I like, hey, I like it. If I hear a good Ed Sheeran song or a pop song, you know, that's really commercial that I wouldn't generally listen to, I'd still like it. But I like that. But then the other side of me says, but don't like it because it's not real. I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you're right, computers rely on input, they do. But that's why I'd love to know how they did it. Now, if someone come up with that guitar tone and someone then sampled a real voice, then maybe we've got something. I don't know. But all I've been told is that it's just AI. And I know that every day AI is just getting more and more clever. And it is getting more clever, worryingly clever, as far as I'm concerned. I know there can be some good sides to it. But I think I've said this before, but I talk to the kids all the time. 80%, 90% of them say AI is bad. So will it self-implode? Because, these people that are putting the money in are targeting school kids. Because that's going to be their bread and butter in a few years' time. That's their generation they want. So if the kids don't like it, but will they just have to accept it? You've got people, I don't know how this is going to work. It'll be long after I've gone, thankfully. What was it Bill Gates said? There'll only be 3 jobs in the future. I'm not sure what they are, if I'm honest. But, why do we need driverless cars? That's another thing. Why do we need that? I don't want it. I quite like driving. I'm actually getting a new car soon. I've gone over to the dark side, to an EV. I don't know if anyone's got an EV, but you like the imperfections of real musicians. Thank you, because I've got loads of those. Tons of them. I'm really good at that. That's one thing I am good at, imperfections. But yeah, it's but I like the song, but I don't like the song because it's AI. I don't know. I must try and find out how it was actually done. I'm sure there must be a video on YouTube now on how someone done it. I just hope that it was someone that played guitar, that sampled their guitar and the sound, and then the singer and the drums and everything. I don't know. I just don't know. I will find out. I don't trust driverless cars. Yeah, but why do we want them? You're putting people out of a job. So what's the point in that? And we need jobs. But I kind of like driving. I don't know why it's boring. But if you've got a good stereo, and you can listen to a lot of stuff, or sometimes I listen to podcasts, which is quite good. I ought to get into audiobooks, because that'd be good as well. So you can kind of do that. But I don't know. But what are the 3 jobs? I never did find out, if I'm honest with you. But I don't think. I don't know. I just don't know. But how? I think COVID taught us a lot, and that's changed things. Maybe not for the better. I don't know. People don't go out so much anymore. What is it? 2 pubs a week or day are shutting because people don't go out anymore. Are we going to be in 30 or 40 years' time? You'll have everything delivered. Probably that'll come by a drone. I don't know. You won't have to leave your house. I don't know. I don't know. But I have hope. You got to have hope. And the kids are rejecting it. So, but maybe as they get on a bit older, they'll realise that they have to use it. What will happen in schools in years to come? Will the teacher be a hologram? I don't know. There are people that are saying that's what will happen, but are they going to be able to control an unruly class? I don't know, but they probably would. He's getting so good, too good. And do you trust it? I'm of an age where I can remember when they brought in internet banking, and we all went, "Hey, that's going to be a lot of fraud, that is, isn't it?" And they went, "Oh no, we'll put safeguards in place. There won't be any fraud." Yeah, I wonder how that went then. You can put safeguards in place. You can keep changing your money, but there'll still be forgers out there who will still make as good a banknote and fool people. There's always someone cleverer. I don't know. Probably best not think about it, if I'm honest. And I think I'm just kind of glad on the age I am. I've managed to do quite a few things in my life. You know, I've been very lucky. I've done a lot of travelling. Played a lot of gigs. Some good, some bad. But yeah, and I had a lot of fun along the way. But the loss of human skills will be the worst scenario. Well, yeah, because the trouble is, if you do lose human skills, will you ever get them back? That's the problem, isn't it? I don't know. But then aren't there sort of, who was it, someone said to me the other day, they got a AI vacuum cleaner or something that just does it while he's at work or something. I don't know. Can you get them? Is that right? I don't know. I've still got my little shark over there that I still do this thing every now and then, but there we are. Who knows? It's going to be... I think the landscape's going to look very different in maybe not even as many as 5 years' time. But the music scene does worry me. I mean, at the moment, it's great. It's great in one sense because we've got more bands touring than ever, so we can see more of them. Unfortunately, the ticket prices are horrendous. And they've gone up and up and up because the bands are earning money out of the touring now. In my day they weren't. They were losing money on touring, but wherever they toured, the album sales would go through the roof, so they get their money back that way. Well, that isn't happening. When we lose the human skills, we go back to the Stone Age. The thing is, if technology then crashes, then you probably would. I don't know. Well, they say everything, it turns around, doesn't it? You know, I mean, if we look at music, we are growing up, it was records and tapes. Why they're making a comeback, I have no idea, because they were rubbish then, and they're still rubbish now. But vinyl was a thing. That's all we had. And that's making a huge comeback. Huge. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I never thought I would live to see his fakery. Yeah, I know. But I do have hope, and I try not. It is a rabbit hole, and it can bring you down. But you've got to look for the. Always look on the bright side of life, you know. And talking to the kids, because they are the future. And genuinely, I give you my word, 80 to 90% of them say AI, they don't like it, they're afraid of it. And you know, when I said, well, I don't want driverless cars, they said, no, I'm looking forward to when I can get my own car and I can get my own freedom. Yeah. I'm not saying we shouldn't have more technology in cars to make things safer, which they are now. You know, every now and then, that thing of mine sees something that I didn't and slams the brakes on and gives me, oh, what's going on here? Sometimes for no reason at all, I might add, but there we go. And I know that I think the new car that's coming has got a load of tech in there. Oh goodness. But there we go. So I don't know. But but the kids, you know, if they reject it, that's what you've got to do. They're the future. If they say, no, we're not going to have it, and they stick together, then, you know, I don't know. It's mind-blowing. It really is. But like I say, vinyl is and I don't have anywhere to put a record player. And to be honest with you, apart from having the radio on sometimes in the house, I don't really listen to a lot of music in there anyway. But I would like to. I have got all my old vinyl. I'm not sure what condition it's in, like, because I never really looked after it, if I'm honest. I know some people are fastidious, and I think you've got to be. But yeah, vinyl. I would love another record player. I've still got my old speakers, which were a good pair of Morton shorts. So yeah, it would be good. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up now because I need to at least do another hour on a bit of Randy Rhoads tonight, I think. Because this one's a bit of a shred fest. I haven't played this like for a long time. The last time I did, what was it, Crazy Train? I have no idea how many takes that took. I honestly thought I was never going to get it, but I did at the end. And I get the feeling this one could take even more because I was a bit younger then, 3 years younger or whatever. But he was, and it was such a shame that he left us so early because he was so different, and he was. And now I'm sort of getting to grips with this one. I really, crikey, I don't know where he really got his ideas from. He was ahead of his time. I mean, there's no question. This was what, 80, very early 80s, and there's ideas that, mind blowing. What a player. We were lucky that we had him, and luckily his sister is still very keeping his name alive out there, which you've got to, you know. You really, he was just such a great player. And he was anti the music business, wasn't he? You know, that's the thing as well. He was all about the instrument. He wasn't a rock and roller. He wasn't a hellraiser. It was like, I want to be the best I can be. And maybe that gets lost a little bit nowadays. I don't know. Anyway, I will see you guys next Friday, 7 o'clock. Okay, so I believe that's going to be a bit of a better time. It certainly is for me. It gives me a bit of time, hopefully, to iron out any problems, which hopefully I've spent a lot of time today, and I don't know what happened last week at all. But I think hopefully I've got it sorted, but you never know with me. Never mind. Anyway, thanks for joining, guys. It's great. And I'll see you next Friday at 7. Cheers, guys. See you later.